Hi, this is Jorge Ramirez, and we are on day two of the Gasparilla Film Festival on this podcast. And joining us today are the director slash writer of the amazing film Mistake, Honey Lauren. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And also with us, Davey Robertson is here, and it's so good of you to join us for this interview.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Davey is the cinematographer, the editor, and a producer on the film as
Oh
well.
wow, all three,
Yeah.
cinematographer, editor, and producer.
The classic three. Yeah.
Yes, you got to do all three of those things in this film. And
Yeah.
before we get started, I want to say I love the movie. It's so well thought out. It looks like it could have been based on a true story, but
Mm,
it feels like it touches at the emotional base for this character and what he's been going through, or what his love for this character whom he is in love with, despite the fact that she may not be beautiful, or she may not be pretty, or she may not be smart, but she does have a lot of heart into this story. So I loved how much thought you put into this to these characters and this movie.
yeah. Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
you're welcome. And I also like the cinematography. It feels like it could have
Mm,
been from that specific era. And also, I loved how the lighting in some of the scenes in the movie, it felt like it just felt appropriate for these two different time periods, which I thought was amazing.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, thanks, Davey. So before we get it, do you think you could tell the audience or the listeners maybe a brief
Yeah.
synopsis of the movie Mistake for those who have not seen it?
I'll keep it super brief.
Okay.
It's a story. It takes place somewhere in the American South in 1941. A baby is born between the sexes, intersex with ambiguous genitalia. So the parents have to choose the sex of the baby, boy or girl. And then 30 years later, with the help of hormone therapy, the baby's raised a man.
Hmm. So that's pretty much the briefest that we can give you. We don't want to spoil too much of the movie for those who have not seen it. But yeah, so what were the inspirations and the influences when you came to make this project? Because I feel like there are some moments where it's just like long, almost pauses, like long scenery sequences. What were you thinking of when you were writing and making this film?
hmm So, some of it is very personal. Um, there, the relationship that he has with his Aunt Peg is not unlike the relationship I have with my uncle, Jim.
Mm.
By the way, he was my first crush and my first heartbreak,
Oh.
all in
Oh,
the
the same
same
day?
day.
Yeah.
And I mean, that really happened. I waited up all night for him when I was 7 because he
Hmm.
said, I'll see you later. And he never came back. But anyway, yeah, so the movie was just based on the fact that when I was growing up, I went through what I look back on now as like a gender dysphoria, where I thought I was a boy from the time could remember till about 7. And from 7 to 8, I named myself Lawrence, and I
Hmm.
cut my hair off, and my parents let me live as a boy,
Hmm.
and it was crazy because it was a
Hmm.
long time ago, but they were very supportive. So as a storyteller, I thought that it was a very particular time in my life, this identity of Lawrence. I always think about it. I really do, because it was
Hmm.
so strange. Can't say I totally understand it. And I thought, I might write about this time in my life. Of course, that has nothing to do with the story per se, but
Hmm.
that was where the idea of the story to write about Lawrence came from.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see not just your movie that came out, but I think we're also starting to see a little bit more of personal stories about gender identity in the past, maybe like 5 or 10 years now. And it's becoming something like It's something that feels more real. It feels like it's something that we need more of nowadays because with what's been going on in the world and also the attacks on the community as well. I feel like those stories, I, like I was raised in the idea that, these types of gender identities were, not really the norm. But nowadays, since we're hearing from these voices of those in the minority, it's like their stories are much more interesting than what we're used to seeing on the big screen nowadays.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really important because it's just a human story.
Hmm.
We're just all the same. We're all the same, and
Yeah.
everybody has stories. And I think that's like demystifying it, I think is an important part of the process as
Mm,
well.
yeah.
And I think getting more gender identity stories out there helps to do that. It helps people to realize that it's not about an agenda, it's just about a human being.
Yeah. I mean, we're all the same no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I want to judge this person based on their appearance or their gender or
Right.
whatever. I want to say that even if uh I have these preconceived notions from the past, we're all human no matter what.
Right.
So that's what I thought was interesting about this film. And I read on maybe your press kit that you had a little bit of like a bit of Terrence Malick in the movie. You had a bit of like Gaspar Noé. The writing felt, I guess it could relate to this. It felt a little bit like William Faulkner type of storytelling, which I thought was pretty
Thank
amazing too.
you.
We'll take
Thank
it.
you.
That sounds
Yeah,
great.
I'll take that and run away with it. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The thing about William Faulkner, I loved how he would create his own world,
Hmm.
obviously. He'd create these towns that didn't really existed and there was that we tried to create a world that wasn't anything but somewhere in the
Mm.
American South. And yeah, yeah. I mean, he is one of my favorite writers, and it's particularly As I Lay Dying.
Mm.
So, and you can probably see that influence in the voiceover
Yeah,
part.
it
Yeah.
does have that feel. It does have that moment. The other character I wanted to discuss is oh my goodness, the mentally challenged character who loves the main protagonist, Lawrence.
Lily. Yeah. So
Lily, yeah.
Lily, she's, her IQ is slightly lower, but
Mm-hmm.
she's certainly the wisest in the group. And yeah, I mean, we all want a Lily in our life. She's just so non-judgmental with him, and
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't complicate anything. And she's quite a beautiful character,
Yeah,
easy
and
to fall in love with.
yeah, I mean, and I could see it sometime when you start to learn about more of their relationship when they were younger to when they became adults. It felt like,
Yeah.
he could have looked at other girls who were prettier or more fair, but there was something that he felt about her that felt more beautiful than all the other girls who were basically wanting his attention, his affection, and I guess they wanted to be lustful towards him. But I guess it was almost like there was nothing that he felt with these other women, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Well, I felt like if anything, he wanted to be maybe one of the girls. He wanted to play with the dolls,
Hmm.
There was no sexuality there, I don't think.
No, I don't think that was what I
Yeah.
was getting from this movie. So now that we're moving on to the next question, which were there any challenges production-wise or anything that went on during this process?
Davey.
Um, yeah, I mean, interestingly, there were a lot initially, which was, do we shoot it all back east? Do we shoot it all in an area where the tobacco farms are? Because there's only a few states in the country where there actually are tobacco farms. We investigated that, like shooting it all like in either Nashville or Kentucky, North Carolina, those places. And then we decided that ultimately no, because there was challenges with that. So we ended up shooting a lot in LA, and doing, like a week or so, like less than a week in Kentucky.
Mm.
And really only 1 day with actors. So we only shot 1 day really with actors back east.
Mm.
Um, so and then also the period stuff too, to solve those problems. Like
Mm.
we're a really low budget production, and we broke all the rules of low budget productions. We had lots of locations, we were period, we had lots of speaking roles,
Yeah, a
and
lot of
so
actors.
yeah, lots of actors. Yeah,
Yeah.
so facing those challenges up front were hard. But I'll say this, that even though we had all those challenges, this production was like magical.
Oh.
We absolutely were able to. I mean, we went through a 23-day basically film shoot between
Mm.
Los Angeles and Kentucky. And we didn't have a single day of overtime. We didn't lose any scenes, and we didn't have any pickups. We didn't have
Mm.
any ADR. We didn't even
Mm.
have to do any ADR. That's just
And
like unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was closer to 20 days.
Well, I think it was
Yeah.
21 in Los Angeles, and then
Oh, I put that in.
you add the one for Kentucky, but then we shot 2 days of
Yeah.
B-roll in Kentucky. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be.
But
But I
love
Oh.
it.
mean, but I mean, the B-roll days were literally me, Honey, and Eric Bakken, and the actor Dominic Bogart. And that
Mm.
was it. We had
Yeah.
no crew
Sometimes
whatsoever.
it was just me, Davey, and Eric,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
with 3 people.
yeah.
Yeah, it was ambitious. I remember thinking, oh, we're in trouble just
Oh.
before we started because
Yeah.
I looked at the schedule at 8 pages some days.
Yeah, 8 pages a
So
day, which is
who
for
does
a narrative feature is
that?
ludicrous. Like
People
and
do
it's
three
really
pages.
ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
very ambitious and it was nervy. It was made me a little scared, but
Mm.
I tell you, it just we moved it and we got a lot of coverage. We got a lot of coverage. We did
Oh.
it. And I think that has to do with being prepared and Davey having his crew, people he's worked with before. Davey and I've worked together before.
hmm
We've
Mm.
known each other for how long? 16 years, maybe?
16 at least. Yeah,
Mm.
well,
Maybe
2011 is when I met Honey. So yeah,
Yeah.
It's a long time. And so we work together in different capacities also. And so I just think having a good infrastructure was helpful. One of the reasons why we couldn't go to Kentucky, because I would have gone by myself and I had zero infrastructure there.
I mean, but tell the truth
To
though,
set
why
it
you
up.
didn't want to go to Kentucky?
Truthfully, because I didn't want to leave my
You
animals.
don't want to leave your
Mm.
cats.
I
Yeah,
couldn't leave my
No.
cat.
but it was just
Right.
better.
Yeah,
It was better
it's
overall
true.
too.
I mean, for real though, I really couldn't leave them. I really
Yeah.
couldn't. But even if I could leave them, I would have been just me out there setting the whole thing up with a bunch
Mm.
of people I didn't know.
Yeah.
And some people, when we went, this really happened. We went somewhere. I'm not going to say where in the American South, the year before to, check it out. And I can remember a few times that the people we talked to never talked to me.
Mm.
I would
It's
ask a
true.
question and
Yeah.
they would look at Davy or Eric
Yeah.
and answer. I'm like, what's happening here? I don't
Mm.
exist in this place. So it would have been
True.
really,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
won't say where. But anyway,
And also, I mean,
that really happened.
and
Yeah.
also cast considerations too, right? Because it was easier to have the actors that we had to work in LA. Even though
That is,
Kay Lenz did go to Kentucky, which was awesome,
Mm.
yeah.
but
Hey,
but Brett and a lot of the people we had, they were local, so it was
yeah,
easier to have them be here.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I got to cast um, people I've worked with, actors, before, like
Yeah.
several of them who were so amazing.
Mm.
So I feel
And
very fortunate.
And
Yeah.
Honey mentioned the crew, and I can't say enough about the crew because, I'm somebody I've worked a lot in the film industry, and I have a crew that I use every time I do productions, and they're all LA based. So
Mm.
if I'd gone to Kentucky, I wouldn't probably been able to use a lot of those people, um,
Yeah.
and it really is like when you have that relationship with a crew, you have kind of a shorthand.
Mm.
And it just makes things, that's part of the efficiency of it too,
Yeah.
of being able to,
Quietest crew in the world.
yeah.
Truly quiet, because everyone's just working, you know.
Everybody says that, but this one's really true. These
It's
guys are
really
amazing. They're
true.
really
It's like
amazing. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
speaking of casting and the crew, I know that previously Dominic was going to join us, but unfortunately he couldn't. So what was his reaction when he decided to get this role? What was his take on it, like when he read the script?
I know he really liked it a lot. I know that he watched a short that Davey and I made together called Wives of the Skies, and he loved that. So he was
Mm,
very excited to talk with me, as I with him, because I saw his work too.
mm,
And I think he was really grateful to get the part and
mm.
happy, to do it. It's hard for actors who aren't big namey actors to get leads in roles that are very nuanced. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked his performance in the film, and I love his character transformation as well. But I don't want to spoil too much of it. But I'll just mention a few early scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, when we first are introduced to him as he's older, he's having these headaches from the testosterone that he keeps taking since he was a little boy. Uh,
Yeah.
and he is having Lily holding his head because he wants to make the pain go away and the headaches, just as an introduction of what he's been going through. And then when you see him going into the tobacco farm, he's trying to act, like the masculine type of man that he is. And then we
Mhm.
later see him go to the bar and he's drinking and he has a fight because there was this girl, or there was, I don't remember if it was like this other he was this girl who was going out with this other guy and she felt rejected, but that was something that I thought really was interesting when you get to know him from those first few scenes alone.
Yeah, the headaches, if you look up testosterone,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first side effect is headache.
Mm-hmm.
But in his case, I think there was a huge emotional overlay about these headaches. It was suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously because he was so conflicted in his soul,
Mm-hmm.
in his heart, in his body. He was so uncomfortable in his own skin. So I think the headache became like such a bad thing. And her taking his headaches ways was really quite beautiful. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
is where these two met. And I think that um the fight, the fighting, the
Mm-hmm.
rage, Dominic did such a beautiful job with that. I mean, I've seen men get angry and can be rabid dogs, which he did it better than anybody. But he was
Mm-hmm.
also able to become very vulnerable and go to that other side.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. Some guys really got to that other side really easily, but they weren't very scary. They couldn't go, Dominic's range. He was willing to go there
Yeah.
and, it was fabulous.
It is, and I loved how he managed to capture that in just those sequences alone, and also the strained relationship between him and his daddy or his father in this film, which I thought was a powerful dynamic as well. As I watched this movie, from the first time that he was born, at first he was supposed to be a girl, and then they get to choose that he's a boy, and then it's like, it's sort of like that dynamic, and then as the story keeps progressing, it's almost like it's shifting and shifting away, but it's becoming more powerful as you watch this movie.
When we first started this, I wrote the film and I thought there was no wrong answer
Mm-hmm.
about that question, boy or girl. There wasn't a wrong answer, but by the time we were done shooting it, I was like, wow, there was no right answer either.
Mm-hmm.
And now a message from Jordan Ramirez for Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez.
I want to take a break from this episode to thank my listeners/viewers who watch the videos on my YouTube channel and listen to each new episode on Spotify. While this show is a labor of love and passion that isn't about the movies that I like, this is also a show that is about the films that you like. Have a film that you want to recommend to the podcast? Make sure to recommend it in the comments section on YouTube and on Spotify, and you will receive a shout out in a future episode. Want to be a guest on the podcast? Click on the sign up form link in the episode description for further details. If you like this episode or my previous episodes, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more interviews in the near future. The goal for this channel is to reach up to 100 subscribers both on YouTube and on Spotify. It's just that easy. And now, back to our regularly scheduled episode.
It really wasn't.
No, that's something that I thought is really amazing as you watch this film and you get to understand more of it. So uh I
Yeah.
I wanted to talk more about not just that, but also I noticed in this film you mentioned one of the characters mentioned they were going to see the film Carnal Knowledge and all the movie magazines that he was having to receive thanks to Lily helping him out.
Yeah.
Um, was this something that you were thinking in your mind that he was also sort of like wanting to work in the movies or something like that? Because I thought that could have been interesting if that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. No, I thought of him as like not really a cinephile, but someone who liked to go to the movies like a great escape, and he had such
Hmm.
a appreciation
Yeah.
for the clothing and the actors and the actresses, and
Hmm.
he had a wonderful creativity in him, and that's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking that he wanted to work in the movies.
I mean,
No.
Yeah.
I think like I totally believe Honey when she says she wasn't thinking about that stuff, but it's such a great way to express the depth of that character,
Hmm.
the creativity and his love for the arts and like his it was just a deeper texture to that character that's living in the rural South that especially in that time in 1971 is so disconnected from Hollywood. 'Cause Hollywood's like just like this imaginary place off in another part of the world. But just to think about being there, think about the clothing, the hairstyles, and the dress and all that stuff. I thought it was like Honey's really good at this kind of thing where she just folds in these things to these characters that are these great deeper textures, that help you understand who the character is and expresses them
Hmm.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I thought that was a pretty amazing choice though to learn more about his character as a way
Yeah,
as a means of escape because uh I mean, I'm from the American Southeast, as I know, and
yeah.
right now because I hate or not hate. I don't like that when you read the news that it feels like things are getting worse for the minority communities and also
Yeah.
for people in the gender communities because of these stereotypes. You're demeaning them. You're basically putting them as a scapegoat. And the more I look at these stories and other, stories that demystify, as we mentioned earlier, it feels
Mhm.
like maybe we need to have this type of conversation instead of just holding it off because I cannot stress this enough right now, especially when I'm living in Florida. We're doing not so good within the we're not doing so good within the LGBTQ plus community, which I thought
Hmm.
it's really sad. This is where we are right now at this point.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's been worse, not for a long time.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, we're thrilled to have two festivals here to
yeah.
Hmm.
play. I would have never guessed.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a bad climate for it right now,
Hmm.
but I think that's circumstantial. Like I think, but what's important is that we have these avenues to have the discussions.
Hmm.
Like we make these movies and we keep talking about it. And that's the only way that we have a greater understanding is that we talk about it. And I keep going back to the same idea that it's a human story.
Hmm.
Like this is a human story. These are human beings and every human has a story, and they're not die cut stories. They don't fit into certain boxes.
Hmm.
And the more people understand that, the more people understand everything
Hmm.
you know so
Yeah.
it's really valuable.
Yeah. And the only thing I could take away from this movie is that I do see some hope and I do see some positivity in the future that we will make it to the point where we will say that I don't want to see anybody being bullied. I don't want to see anybody facing these types of issues, and that
Yeah.
we will provide more and more of these types of stories that don't
Yeah.
have to be, as you say, boxed in, or maybe, as you mentioned, like die cut stories, which I thought this is what we need to do for the future. So the best thing I could try to do right now is turn that negativity into a positivity. Take
Mhm.
something that feels negative, but turn it into something that's hopeful and optimistic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the that's the hope for this film.
Yeah,
You know, the impact that it could have could change the way people think.
yeah. And
Well,
also,
there's so much optimism though,
mhm,
because
Yeah.
I mean, we're not telling stories that are invented or fantastical. Like these are just stories about real people that really exist. Like if you
Mhm.
want to exist in the world, these are the people that exist in the world. You
mhm,
know, these are universal stories. You know,
Yeah.
lots of people are this way or that way. You know, that's part of telling. That's what's so important about telling stories about different groups of people. You know, that we're absolutely all the same, you know?
mhm, yeah,
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I was saying that, I mean, in broad strokes, this film's about identity,
yeah,
and alienation. These are universal topics. We've
right,
all
yeah.
been there and felt that way.
yeah. But just trying to go from that, I do like that in this film you've had a few song choices. I like one sequence in particular where I'm trying to remember, it was maybe a little bit earlier or later in the film when they were going out to see the picture show and he's helping uh Lily with her makeup, and you hear like a little bit of David Bowie in the background, which I thought it does feel like it is from that era.
Yeah.
Were you trying to because you were working on a low budget, were you trying not to use like too much of the period music, or were you trying to also use music that would fit into that period as well?
Oh,
Honey,
oh gosh. Yeah, this is like, uh, here's
yeah.
a obviously you don't want to, break the bank on a song. You
The
just
dirty
Hmm.
can't do
secrets
that.
about Hollywood. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I know that. But
Hmm.
I also knew that this was placed exactly where it needed to be, and I was going to worry about that later
Hmm.
Yeah.
and deal with what I needed to deal with in the present, which is put that song in, make it work,
Yeah.
and figure out a way that I could keep it in,
I give Honey so much credit in this respect because she was really ferocious about using Life on Mars by David Bowie. Um,
I really was.
and we what you me and Eric and our music supervisor, whose name is Ruben Sears, was like, it's we can't get it. Like it's too expensive. Like we just can't do it. So let's
Hmm.
try other options. And Honey was like, no, no, we're gonna use it. So we got right now, I think I don't understand all the particulars about the legality of it, but we do have the
Hmm.
festival rights to show it. I believe if we do have to, if it gets picked up for distribution, we will have to pay a relatively substantial amount to get the,
Do,
right,
yeah.
rights
Yeah.
to do it, but we're not there right now.
Mm.
But
Well, we
even
kind of
having
are, but
yeah,
I
but
mean,
maybe, but
we're
even
not there.
having it
Yeah,
even having it for the festival rights is great, and it does work so fabulous in that moment. Like it's the if like it's the only song we would have to pay for in the movie.
Mm.
'Cause we did everything else was
we did it the
either
right. Yeah.
yeah, either Emiliano, which was our amazing composer, by the way, and I hope we
Mm.
talk about the score a little bit in this. But
Mhm.
Emiliano was absolutely incredible. He did the score, and then we did some, we had some other what they call needle drop music,
Mm.
but that's from like a music library that we paid for.
Okay.
But it's interesting because the scene you referenced in the
Yes.
field was not David Bowie.
No,
Mm.
that was a different song.
That was a needle drop, but it sounds a lot like David Bowie.
I mean,
Okay.
And
they're
yeah,
from the same world. And you know
yeah,
something? There were kids in
Hmm.
1971
yeah,
in the American South that listened to that music.
yeah,
Mm.
There were, they were out there. They
yeah,
were.
Yeah.
They weren't country western kids, They
Hmm.
were
yeah.
literally
Well,
Roxy Rex people.
I think we tried to make the bar that he went to
Hmm.
kind of like just in the music that they played. a suggestion that that bar was pretty progressive,
Mm.
Yeah, I
even
mean that.
though
Yeah.
yeah, even though it was like a rural bar, but like the music they were playing was like hip music for the time.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
the extras, I just remember looking at them and costumed and hairstyled, and I was like, okay, this is the freak bar now.
Yeah, it's the freak bar.
They
Yeah.
went from
That's
the
right.
Dick's bar to the
Yeah,
freak
yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this that works perfectly. That was I was
Right.
so it was one of those like things that it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it made sense to me. And it's like, of course they listen to, Bowie and
T-Rex.
Ramirez.
And
There you go,
yeah,
and
those kinds of bands. Yeah.
those,
Androgynous bands. Yeah. Yeah.
and they were those kids were out there. People,
Mhm.
Yeah.
in there was a little enclave of them, a
Yeah.
lot. There's a ton of people from the South at that time that listened to
Yeah.
that music.
Hmm.
So
Uh, so right now, speaking of this, we can talk about the score of the movie, which I
yeah,
love the
so
score. It was
beautiful.
really poetic, and it felt
Yeah,
like it was appropriate for some of the emotional scenes, the dialogue scenes,
yeah.
and also the flashbacks. So, how was the score approached? Like when you made this film?
Well, Davey was super helpful, I have to say. He's just a multi-talented human.
Mm,
And one of the things is, I didn't have a lack of composers. There were plenty that were interested. And Emiliano just wrote me, on got my email. It was like random, and I listened to his stuff on his website. I'm like, it's like a carousel in heaven. I remember thinking this one piece of music,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's it. But I brought it to Davey and to Ruben. They're like, yeah, 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 honey, So he was kind enough to do a piece to show us, what he would do. And we also gave him temp music. That's how it works.
mm,
And other composers as well, but he was really the one. I
mm,
Yeah.
mean, so good.
Like when you do a rough cut of a movie generally, and as being the editor, like when you rough cut a scene, you have to put something musically in there, and that music that you're using is not what's going to be in the scene, like, but you want to give the feel of what it will be.
mhm,
And so
Yeah.
we did that, and then we had one scene in particular that we really loved, and we really loved the way the music felt with it, and we sent that off to a couple different composers, I think several composers, honestly.
Yeah.
And Emiliano was the only one that really referenced our temp track. Like,
mm,
he really got the feel of
But
it, and
still,
yeah,
yeah,
and got the soul of it, for
mm.
lack of a better
truly.
word. And we were just blown away, and then working with him,
Oh, so
even
easy.
more blown away. Like,
So
he's
easy.
so beautiful and sensitive, and like,
You just sit there and watch the picture and come up with the music as
yeah, like we would sit in the room with him and work on it, and he would just go something like this, and he'd play something on the piano, and then like all my mascara, smeared all over my face. I'm crying so much,
Davey
like
cries a
it's
lot.
it's just so beautiful, and I was like, you just
Mm,
did that right now. I kind of wanted to push him down the stairs, but
Yeah,
mm,
I mean, it was remarkable. There were
like,
times too when I was watching the screen and he was playing, and I thought, I didn't, for a second, I thought it was just the music in the scene, but he was
right, that
doing
he had
it
just
live.
recorded it, right, but he was playing live.
Yeah,
mhm.
and
He was
making it
playing
up.
live, yeah. And so I can't say enough about him.
Emiliano
Yeah.
Mazzenga.
Yeah, I can't say enough
Emiliano
about him.
Mazzenga.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Can't say
he's
enough about
like
him.
going to be the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And I love the way that he composed some of the beautiful scenes in the movie, especially when it's Dominic's character as Lawrence, or maybe when it's the relationship between him and Lily, or maybe it's something from like his flashbacks of the past that
Yeah,
you get to see. It feels like it does paint this beautiful uh as it almost feels like it's a beautiful painting, but it has a lot of that emotion and that warmth into the feeling that I get when I watch this movie.
he
Yeah.
certainly adds to it without over dramatizing it. Do you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So he
Yeah.
does,
Hmm.
he adds to it, and it's astounding. His work's astounding. It really
I,
is.
I mean, score is one of those things that you hope, like, when you're watching the movie, you don't really hear it. You just
Hmm.
feel it. But after the movie's over, you hope like you walk out going, you're humming some of the tropes of
Somebody,
it. Like, and I think that's what this is. I really do.
Yeah.
someone said that to me. They were humming like
Yeah.
something right after one of the screenings. I mean, she said she kept up for dates. I was like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really
Speaking of,
sad.
yes. So speaking of that, I mentioned Dominic, but what
Mm,
were the other actors, such as the act Kay Lenz you mentioned, and the
yeah.
other Bogart who played his dad in the film? So how were they? What were they like when they were, acting out the roles in the film, and how they got to become the characters in these different parts?
So Matt Bogart is Dominic's plays his father, but he's really his brother.
Okay.
And
Brother, his
he's
older brother.
actually yeah,
Okay.
slightly older, but not
Yeah.
that much older.
Not much though,
Not
really.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's
I think
such
Matt's the same age as me, honestly.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
He's actually yeah, so I mean he what was great about him is that I knew that we couldn't hate father, right? Because I'm
Hmm.
trying to recreate a sympathetic view from all the characters. You don't condone what he did, but you got to love him
Hmm.
and his relationship to his son, and we got to see how much he loves his son. And people were coming in angry, and then some were just, and I tried to direct it a little, and it was really like in the final hour that, and I kept, oh, 6 months before we shot, I cast Dominic, and
Hmm.
and he said, I don't know how we were talking, but he said, I have a brother, and I'm like, there's two of you, because there's four of us, there's four.
Mm.
Dominic, Bogarts, pardon me. And so I was like, okay. So I looked up his brother and I thought, he could play his father,
Mm.
even though he doesn't look that much older, but there was something. But then he was traveling. I couldn't get him to audition, or I didn't think he was interested, the brother. I don't know what happened. I went through all these fathers,
Mm.
and some were kind of
Mhm.
naming names, but people were auditioning and getting mad at me because I was like, no, no. And then his brother came in and auditioned, and he was so lovable and likable and showed so much pain. His whole thing was so, I don't know, I was so taken by him. I
Mm.
was like, this guy,
Yeah.
if people fall in love with him the way I do, then this is going to work.
Yeah.
And I was just super grateful to find him.
And Matt is a seasoned Broadway performer. Like he's been in a
Yeah.
lot of Broadway. So he's a great actor. But he like Honey what Honey said is exactly right. Like there was few people that came in that had that depth of range that he did. Like
Yeah.
to be able to be as sensitive as he is and then as tough as he is, because
Yeah.
it's a tough
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
He-
really is so nuanced. There's so much
Yeah.
there. And he listened to me, he let me work with him. He really did. I mean, he had such a beautiful way of expressing it
Yeah.
himself too.
Mm.
And sometimes he would just do it in action.
Mhm.
I don't want to give too much away, but I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes with a word, like I said, this word should not trip off your tongue easily because it's not used a lot during this time in this day. And
Mhm.
he put his hand to his heart as he let it out on the scene. And I remember thinking, that's such a great way to take that note and what he did with that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, really.
Yeah, yeah, and I also liked the character of
Mm.
Aunt Peg in the movie, and her performance was like she is so down to earth. She's so thoughtful, and she knows what Dominic or his character is going through. Lawrence's character is going through, and she asked him to come to California to live with him, to live with her. Excuse me, to live with her.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I'm getting so mixed up at this moment. Uh, but I just
Yeah.
loved her character. And I don't
Oh.
what was the what was her what was the actress who was cast in the role? Was she very kind? Was she very sweet, like you see in the movie?
Well, I love this question. This is my favorite question because I
So
can't wait for Honey to answer this
I
one.
think you should answer it. So, there were two Aunt Pegs. You know
Yeah.
that. There was
Yeah.
young Aunt Peg, which wasn't me, but I was
Okay.
the older. I was Aunt
Older
Peg.
and Peg was Honey Lauren. She
Oh, I
played
did
her.
not know that was
Yeah.
you. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
People
Ah,
like always say that, which is amazing to me. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
oh.
huge compliment. Now
That's
I'm
a
gonna cry.
transformation right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was odd. I was in a room with a distributor,
Mm-hmm.
David Schultz, and he was with his friend, and they both left there, and with and they were talking about Aunt Peg. I was right next to them. They didn't know it was me. I was like, come on,
No.
guys. But they really didn't. They
Oh.
had no idea. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, maybe here's the deal with Aunt Peg. She
Mm-hmm.
was really the most two-dimensionally written, sadly, character
Oh,
script, which was like cringy to me.
okay.
And so I knew that whoever played it, they had to show not what was on the page, but what wasn't on the page, which was how worn she was by
Mm.
life. She was like this outlier.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't belong there either
Oh.
in that. And in back in those days when she left, women didn't do that unless, they were hookers or this or that, which she wasn't really, she was
Mm.
sort of a feminist in her own way. But I think that she was worn down by life. She started out as this young, kind of beautiful woman full of energy, and she was going to do her thing. And by the time she was older, life just didn't work out for her that
Mm.
way. And she considered Larry to be her son, the son she never had.
Mm-hmm.
And she was his godmother, and
Yeah.
she lived in California where they were with people that were more understanding,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I was not aware that you were playing Aunt Peg, but it
That's
feels
awesome.
like I made a total blunder on my part that I did not know about.
No, that's like the biggest
No, I
compliment.
think it's a great
No,
compliment. Yeah, I
it
think it's
really
a great
is.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Y-
it
Yeah.
really is. Because
Yeah.
it's funny. I saw it for the first time in a long time. I would watch pieces of the movie. I always have to check the links and make sure, skip around, make sure it's working. So
Yeah.
when we were at Sedona last week, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last
Last
week,
week. Yeah. Yeah.
I watched it for maybe the first time all the way through in so long. And it was the first time I could watch it and watch myself and not look at all the mistakes, and not like freak out or cringe or go, oh my God. And yeah, and it was good, so I was happy to have that kind of space, in between viewing it and objectivity, maybe a little bit. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, thank God. Because before, it's hard, it's really hard to direct yourself. Every actor needs like a director,
Mm-hmm.
but Davey was there too. And I relied on him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he directed me, and I'm just saying, I'm not sure I'd do it again.
Yeah,
It was really
absolutely.
hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also liked I wasn't aware that the mom in the movie was you mentioned Kay Lenz. Was
Mhm.
she really I might have seen her in a movie that she had done years ago, but I did not know that was her. For me seeing this for the first time, it was like, oh my goodness, I did not know that his mother was played by this actress whom I've seen in another movie from years ago. So, what was she like work when she was in this project? Was she uh
Amazing.
yeah.
I mean, the absolute sweetest, most wonderful person.
We,
Mm.
we
You
love
know,
her.
and like I don't know how old you are, Jordan, but
I'm not
for
old enough to remember
not
Caitlin.
old enough probably for Kaylin's, but from us, and I was like a little kid, like
Hmm.
so. Just, you know, as a disclaimer, I was really little, but I loved Kaylin's when I was a little kid. Like she was in all these shows in the '70s and the early '80s, and like my mom like worshipped her. And like if I told my mom right now that I'd worked with Kaylin, she would just pass out. Like Kaylin's
Well,
was like a superstar. I mean, she married David Cassidy for God's sakes.
I think I love you, David Cassidy.
Yeah, like,
Oh my God.
and so when I
And
found out,
probably the prettiest girl I'd ever seen in my life.
yeah, and Kaylin's is,
Yeah.
and she maintains that as, where she is now as an actress. Not only was she one of the most loveliest people to work with ever, but she's a phenomenal actress, like
Mm.
phenomenal.
She is
Like,
so good. She
mm,
knows how to make an event happen in a
yeah,
scene. You
yeah.
know, she will not just roll over anything. She will grab those events and she will make them happen. And I mean, she's dreamy.
I compare it to like I've worked with some I've been lucky enough in my career to work with some great actors.
Mhm.
But this was the first time I worked with actors on a narrative like this that was like a bigger scale. And so I
Mm.
got to see Caitlin's like really in her environment, but then also Brett Cullen who played the sheriff.
Mm.
Like these guys, these folks are such professional, amazing actors. They're
Mm.
so good. They know exactly how to take a tiny little moment and make it so important or special,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know? And you just see that, and you can see why they had such prolific careers, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Truly.
mean, no, no, no. You go ahead.
No. I mean, when I think about Brett, okay,
Yeah.
it would have been so easy for that character to just be a
Yep.
mean guy, the sheriff.
Hmm.
He was the Greek choir, really. He's just
Yep.
saying what everybody in the town felt. So that's
Yeah.
was, and he managed to do it in such a way, talk about nuance, that we, again, we didn't hate him. He brought empathy to it. He found those moments. We, he t we offered him the part. He's like the only one who didn't audition. And
Yeah.
he got on the phone with me and he was, kind of being himself. He's really aggressive and really sweet underneath it all.
Mm.
And we talked about the ending, which we can't give away.
No,
And,
no.
and he
Or
wanted to do it this way, and I told him it had to be done that way, and went back and forth. And I told him why, and he goes, "Oh, okay." So then, it was fabulous that, he was such a team
Yeah.
player and
I mean,
so,
I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say like the first scene we shot with him,
oh my
Mhm.
gosh, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and th this was my first time that I met him.
Yeah.
And it's the scene later in the movie when the father comes back away from the meeting with the warden of the prison and he talks to Brett in a hallway. It's just a very short scene.
Mhm.
Um, and we shot that we started shooting that scene and I was like, I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, I know Brett from his career, but I don't know him personally.
Mm.
And so we're shooting this scene and I was floored. I was absolutely floored with how much restraint he had as an actor and how much he controlled the situation with like quietness.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, because Matt Bogart came up, got right in his face, and Brett was just like,
It
Mm.
was beautiful.
I walked away and just said, oh my God.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie
Yeah.
with both of them. I
Yeah. I was
mean,
just
with
like,
with
Brad
Matt.
Cullen is an absolute master. That's what I
Yeah.
Mm.
thought. Yeah.
And they truly they played off each other so well.
So
And it
well. Yeah.
wasn't even until after we're shooting, I mean, editing it, that I realized that how pivotal that scene actually was with some of the
Right.
dialogue.
Mhm.
Right.
Remember that? I'm like, what?
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't, I didn't
But
even
yeah,
realize it. I'm like, oh, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I also liked the I think I'm at a point right now because I've got to interview two wonderfully talented people that I feel like the only way I could meet, maybe if I wanted to meet somebody who had a prolific career, is if maybe I would interview somebody who has worked with them. Because for me, it's like my dream would have been like to meet some big A-lister celebrity, but I guess for me, I would have to start not there because I'm not at that top yet. I would have to start with somebody uh maybe somebody who worked on independent projects or lower budget projects who had worked with them and then start from there. That would be something I would start with first and foremost. So I it's been wonderful to talk to you two about this
Oh,
and
thank
it's
you so
amazing.
much. Thanks for having us.
You're
yeah.
welcome. I'm gonna give you a couple more questions before we wrap things up. So, what do you hope that audience members, viewers who are going to see this film this week, what will they will take from this movie?
Well, again, I feel like I'm hoping that the way that this movie makes them feel, the
Hmm.
impact of this film could, for at least some of them, change the way they think. Because I think, for me personally, the lack of judgment that is needed for this film, I think can heal a lot of people in a lot of situations.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the beautiful things about the movie, and we didn't really get the chance to talk about this, but and it's in Honey's writing especially, is that it's not agenda-sized. So we're not pushing an agenda here in the movie. When you see the
Hmm.
movie, we're not saying anything about gender issues really. Like we're not really pushing that down anybody's throat
mhm.
or making you like have to take a stance about them. It's just a human story.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people can watch this and come away feeling like really empathetic because you just watched somebody go through something and you understood who they were. So my hope is that that's what they take away is that maybe in a small way we influence or people learn that all of these stories are just human stories.
Hmm.
You know, there and if you like if you're triggered by trans or by gender issues, like it's easy to forget that these are all just human beings that just like you, just like anybody in your family, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
they're all just so importantly individual and special. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And it's not in any way preachy. I
It's
don't
not
No.
know
preachy at all.
Hmm.
That's
the
the
bad
beauty of the
stuff.
movie. That's the beauty of the movie. And you know, so in some ways to the detriment of the movie is that it's like
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, we
Right.
found that like we're not an issue movie, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it is and it isn't. I think you can
yeah.
start off with one thing and sometimes it turns into this other thing. But
Yeah.
I think there is a cause element to it for sure.
Yeah.
There is an awareness of intersex that I think will be presented here, that is presented here, that other than some people, I've talked to some journalists, I've never, he didn't even know what the word meant. I didn't know what it was, which seems,
Yeah.
wow, okay. So in that sense, it brings awareness without, again, preaching. So
Hmm.
it's affecting, I think. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what I get from this movie too. It's not being, as you mentioned, it's not being too overt. It's not being too preachy. Um,
right.
And as you mentioned as we mentioned earlier with the score, it doesn't feel melodramatic. It doesn't feel like so over the top or so grand. It feels so personal. It feels so emotional, but at the same time, it doesn't like push it too hard. But that's what I like about these types of stories. It's so grounded. It feels so realistic. Um, and I and I want to congratulate you on this film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much. Yeah.
yes, thank you. Do you have any future plans after this project and after the festivals?
Well, of course, we'd like to, we just started the festival last week. That was
Mm-hmm.
our first festival. So we're in like seven more, like consecutively, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of crazy. Just the doors blew right open. And we hope to be able to, we'll get distribution of some kind
Mm-hmm.
to put it actually in the theater,
Yeah.
which is kind of lovely and unusual. And of course, other kinds of distribution as well. And so that's, for this film. And with that, we hope to be able to get to do the next one and then the next one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this has been an amazing interview, and I want to congratulate both Honey and Davey for being on the show to talk about this amazing film that I thought was very personal and I thought was a beautifully well written and well acted piece of work that I thought you two had contributed. So I want to congratulate you, Honey, and you, Davey, as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks
Yeah.
for
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so before we wrap things up, where can people find you, Honey, and you, Davey? Uh,
sure.
yes.
Well, we if you go to Davy for Davy, destroyalmedia.com,
Yep.
and mistake is listed in there and it's being updated with, where it's playing
Mm-hmm.
and interviews and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a robust website for Mistake. So if you want to visit that website, I mean, hopefully, I don't know where you're going to post this, but we can put the link in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
To link to the website that has all the information. I mean, it's got the history, the synopsis, the all the festivals that it's playing and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, you can explore it there for sure. You
Yeah.
know, that would be the
And,
place. That would be the place to go. Yeah.
and it
Okay.
links to everybody's website
Yeah,
and
and there's
things
tons
like
of links within there so you can explore all the actors and I mean, there's a billion links in there too for like everything that everybody's ever done. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
everything in the world.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
And this film, will it be opening tomorrow night or it will be opening tonight at the festival?
No,
Tomorrow.
it's playing tomorrow
Oh, yeah.
at Gasparilla,
Okay.
and then on tomorrow night at 7 or 6:45,
Which
and then
I
yeah.
think you're there in Gasparilla, right? Because you don't live in a hotel room. So
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm in Sarasota, and
Oh,
Sarasota, okay.
I'm not even at Tampa.
Oh,
Tomorrow
you're
morning,
not.
I'm
Okay.
going to Tampa, where
Okay.
Gasparilla is, and then I'm
Yeah.
coming back. And Sunday it's playing in Sarasota at
Okay.
Real Equals. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Nice.
don't live in a hotel
No.
okay.
No, it looks very nice, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you both for talking about the movie Mistake. It will be coming tomorrow night at the Gasparilla Film Festival, and I know I won't be there sadly, but I had the joy and honor of watching the film and getting to talk with both Honey and Davey about the film, and maybe when the next time we meet, it will be a pleasure seeing you both in person.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
You so
Yes.
kindly. We
Yeah.
appreciate it so much.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
before we wrap things up, I will make sure to get the website and everything else uploaded so that maybe people will see the website and learn more about it, the information that you gave out. Okay, and this has been Jordan Ramirez signing off, and you've been watching a brand new episode of Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez and Honey Davey. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.